Oh, here we go. Let's go, Jared. We cheering you on, buddy. Here we go. Here we go. How's everybody doing today? We are having a great day today. I tell you, today is day 4. How you doing? We're already on day 4. Can you believe that? That's crazy. We're already on day 4. Time is flying by. Now today, here is a nice little holiday. Okay, we got a great holiday. It's Memorial Day today. Oh wait, it's Labor Day today. Sorry, I had that backwards. I always get those two confused. But Memorial Day is in the beginning of summer and Labor Day is at the end. So I gotta keep that check. I got my people taking care of me, keeping me in order. Love it, love it, love it. All right, how you doing today? Glad you're here. Fucking glad you're here, okay? We got day 4. How you feeling? All right, is your fire stoked? Is your critical eye in the hole? Impulse control being deployed on that guy and that bad boy? You got your schedule aligned? Because you got to have that schedule aligned now to get to where you're going. Now we're trying to get our 30 days, getting some head in. We're going to get, I don't know how many heads we're going to do. We're going to shoot for over 100 though. We're already going to get there, I can tell already. And that's pretty exciting. Now I want to do a quick little shout out to Trips. Now I don't know if you guys remember. You probably do. In our last challenge, we had a faux commission. You know what faux means, right? F-A-U-X, faux, not fox, faux. And that's when we kind of pretend like we get a commission. We pretend and then we go with it, you know, and pretend like we commissioned ourselves. Well, Trips got himself a faux commission done turned into a real commission. I don't know if you guys saw on X or Twitter or whatever, but he did himself a little fantastic illustration. Poster worthy, shirt worthy, and it actually got picked up by somebody. And they're going to go ahead and pay him for it and all that. They're going to make shirts or something into it. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. Now, I ain't saying who it is. You can go look and see who you want if you want to see on Twitter, see who it is. But after they make the shirts and stuff, we'll definitely give them a shout out and give them a little promotion on here. All right, so good job. Wait, let's all raise the glass of Trips. There you go, buddy. Way to go. Okay, take a little swig. It is a holiday. I got a little something more strong than coffee in here. I'm just going to say that right now. That might be why you notice I cough a little bit, okay? We get a little action going on, okay? Now, speaking of getting head, I wanted to kind of broach this subject because me and some of my buddies were talking about this the other day. We were talking about the perfect date, okay? When you go out on a date, what's the perfect date? What's a great first date, you know? I've been around some guys who do the complete wrong thing and they take a girl out on the first date to like a $300 or $400 dinner. You know, what kind of message does that send? You know, how much pressure is that gonna give you? That's a lot of pressure for a girl to be under. All of a sudden show up at a 3 Michelin star, you know, getting that black ink, octopus, you know, squid ink pasta tortellini with you know, $100 bottle of wine. She's sitting there looking around like, what have I gotten myself into? And I'll say this, if she's, you know, if she's the one ordering another bottle of wine, what have you gotten yourself into? You know, you take her to the bar and you say, okay, I'm going to get a drink. And she looks up there for that Louis the 13th or whatever, or the, you know, Don Julio 1942 double shot. We're talking $80. What have you gotten yourself into? Okay. Yeah. You got to watch out. You know, conversely with the ladies too, I mean, I know you get excited about a first date, but don't wear the banger outfit, okay? Keep the big guns in reserve, all right? Don't come out banging with it, you know? Just kind of wear, you know, pretty good, you know, outfit, whatever. Don't bring out the big guns, you know? And so, you know, I see some people talking about, oh, take him on a coffee date. And I'm like, what are we, in high school? I mean, damn, you know, you don't want to go on no coffee date. That's retarded. Come on, people. Do you know how much work it is for a guy to go on a coffee date? He gotta be like the ringleader in a 3-ring circus to keep all of that, you know, whatever going, the conversation and everything, doing backflips, and the girl sitting there thinking, oh, okay, oh, okay. It's just it's too much, okay? It's too much. It's not the right signals. So what's the first date that's perfect? What's the perfect first date, Ray Ray? The perfect first date is to invite a girl to a happy hour. All right? Find a nice bustling bar or whatever. It could be trendy, and invite her to a happy hour. All right? Now, if you're a guy, you want to, when you invite her, you want to pay for her first drink. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's respectful. It's what you should be doing. And a girl shows up, you know, and as a guy, you know, the great thing about a happy hour is it's already hustling and bustling, so it's going to carry some of the responsibility and the burden of entertainment for the girl, okay? Now, as a guy, what you want to do on a first date is just be a good entertainer, right? You want to have a couple of stories lined up, have a couple topics of conversation, and you're basically just like, you know, you're directing traffic out there. You're a traffic cop, trying to keep the traffic moving. Trying to keep it moving, so there's no awkwardness, there's no stillness, so everything is like, you know, you're just a good, hospitable entertainer. You know, you're inviting her to the bar, you know, and quite often the bartender can help out, put in a couple funny jokes or whatever, or be, you know, a nice point of focus, a nice focal point for you to, you know, hell, order a mojito or some shit like that. So they got to work on it and do some of their craft, and then you guys can both watch it. You know, and then it takes some of the burden off of you to always trying to be like, well, what do we want to talk about? Well, let me show her a story. I want to get her to laugh, and I want to impress her a little bit or whatever, you know? And then also you can people watch. You know, there's some Looney Tunes out in the bar. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the alcohol helps out. You know, the alcohol helps. And from the girl's point of view, you know, you could just show up, no big deal. It's a happy hour. You ain't got to wear your 9-inch stiletto heels that have the leather boots that run up to the knees. You know, save that for the third or fourth date when you're sure you like the guy. You know, when you really want to, you know, knock his socks off. You know what I'm saying? Literally and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? And wait till you're there, okay? Don't be going out with guys just to go out and take advantage of them to get a drink. You're going to get yourself in trouble that way, right? You're going to get yourself in some sort of a social contract, some covert contract that you didn't even know you signed up for, okay? And we got to quit playing this footsie game of, you know, this means this and this means that. Okay, when two people are coming together, there's an expectation, right? The guy expects the fact that you said yes for you to like him, okay? And he's going to go out and he's going to put out his resources because he likes you, all right? Quit playing around with this bullshit that, well, I didn't know that's how it was. Okay, you guys want to be equal? Come on now. Let's be real. So you're out at the happy hour. Say, for example, it's going terrible, right? It's a terrible happy hour. The girls, whatever, or the guys, whatever, it's just not a match. Well, after the first drink, you guys can just bounce. It's over with, right? No harm, no foul. Public place. It's easy peasy. Hey, I appreciate the drink, but I gotta get moving. I got an early day tomorrow. Lie. The guy says, hey, I appreciate you coming out. I'm gonna get another drink or whatever, but I got some bros, whatever. We're gonna, you know, whatever. No problem. Go your separate ways. But if it turns out it's a good first date, you guys are clicking, it's easy to go ahead and say, hey, how about a couple appetizers? Let me order them on the bar right here. Get a couple appetizers. Then if it goes, you know, phenomenal, like it's a grand slam after the appetizers, hey, you want to sit down and grab a bite to eat? I sure am hungry. Or better yet, I know a good hot dog place next door. Let's go get a couple hot dogs and french fries. You know, then there you go. Then you're off on your way. Anyway, that's just a little something I picked up along the way. You know, guys, you want to have a couple stories ready. You know, you don't want to show up and just kind of wing it. You want to have your shit together, because it's on you to be entertaining. It's on you to direct the conversation, and it's on you to do that. All right? And then once you do it and you realize, hey, this ain't that hard, you have fun doing it, right? And girls, you know, just show up and have a good time. Be courteous. Be polite. If you're not into the guy, just say, hey, I appreciate it. I'm not into you. Don't sit there and try to take him for a whole bill that night. Oh yeah, let's order some caviar. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get that Veuve Clicquot. Let's get that champagne going. You know, just so you can have a night out. You know, you don't want to do that. It's gonna get yourself in trouble. Anyway, I probably said a little too much. You know, I don't want to reveal the secret hints behind dating and seduction and all that good stuff, because I got a few of them now. I know a thing or two about a thing or two, and we could get into it. But maybe we'll do that some other time. Maybe we're gonna come up here and get back to what we was doing anyway, trying to get into this drawing. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and let's get into what we were talking about with this drawing. Now come up here to camera 2. Let's check out what we done did. Okay. Of course, I always got my toilet paper everywhere just in case. But here's the heads I did over the weekend. Okay, hope you did your heads over the weekend too. I got them right here. I got about 30 of them on the page. Now these are just constructed heads from all different kinds of, you know, vantage points or whatever. You got your boxes, you got your spheres, and you got all that kind of stuff, you know. Now, what we're gonna do today is what I like to call the lineup, okay? So I've already kind of penciled in some guys, but you're basically gonna do 10 heads, 5 heads on each lineup, and you're gonna have them rotate, okay? Rotate to the right, rotate to the left. Can you see that? And I just kind of did it like it's a box, right? Because you want to start out with a box, because that's the most fundamental thing to understand. It's the easiest to understand. And when you get in trouble with an angle or something, you revert back to, well, what would a box look like? What would a cube look like at this angle? And then you start there. Then it gives you the ability to lay in the rest of the face and all that good stuff, okay? Now I just got my trusty Sharpie right here. We're keeping it nice and cheap, okay? And that's what we want to do. We want to keep it nice and cheap right now. All right, before we start getting into the Big Daddy. Like I got the Big Daddy right here. Check that out. Regular Sharpie, Big Daddy Sharpie, right? This is first date. This is third or fourth date when we're ready to get down to business. You know what I'm saying, people? Because hey, we trying to get something done here. We trying to spark some life here. You can't spark life without the Big Daddy in the room. All right, so let's go with this, okay? So I just went ahead and laid out a line, couple lines on top, couple lines on the bottom, so on and so forth. And it's just, the idea here is to have it, the box looking straight on, and then have it rotate to the left, 3/4 view, have it rotate to the left in profile, have it rotate to the right, 3/4 view, have it rotate all the way to the right in profile. And then down here, we have the box looking down, rotate to the left, 3/4 profile, rotate all the way to profile, and then on the right side, do the same thing, 3/4 profile, all the way to the right in profile, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab maybe some of this green right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna outline the box real quick so you guys can see the box, okay? Now here's the box right here. Let me pull this down a little bit. Here's the box right here. And I ain't trying to be all perfect with it, draw straight lines or anything. I'm just trying to, just the idea of the box. Now, the great thing about the box with the 3/4 view is that this corner of the box represents the corner of the face. Okay, people? Right where the face turns from the front to the side on the head. That's very important right there. And that's one of the biggest advantages of drawing the box, is that you go ahead and you get that cubic situation with the facets of the box that help to represent the facets of the face, okay? So I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna show off the box, all right? Like so. And it's pretty easy. You can draw a box. People's grandmas can draw boxes, okay? It ain't hard. And so the reason why I'm also showing the box is because this ain't some big psychological thing. It's easy. You can do it. You can do it. Just give it a little practice. You know, that's what this 30-day challenge is all about, the practice. And head construction's the most important thing, okay? So let's go ahead and do the boxes up here and do the boxes right here, you know, the 3/4 and nice little cube, the side, you know. They're not all perfect and they're not trying to be perfect. If you want to work on perfect, you go ahead and do that. You could totally do that. And then, anyway, so that's what we got going on right there. So we got our boxes lined out. All right. Now, the next thing I want to show you, let me grab a different color here. Let's do this red. Is that when you're drawing the features on the face, you can use simple shapes to help make sure that they're symmetrical. If you don't use simple shapes, they're not going to be symmetrical. I'm telling you that right now. So look, I just use an upside down triangle to represent the simple shape of where the eyes and the nose go, okay? Now you want that triangle to be symmetrical, okay? Now don't get on me if my triangle ain't symmetrical right here, because I'm trying to move this to the side so the camera can see it. I'm not really focused on making it good. I'm trying to do a little bit of a demonstration right here. So don't be like, oh, Ray's triangle ain't symmetrical. Ray's triangle, yeah, true, it ain't symmetrical. I'll give you that, okay? I'll give you that, all right? So I got my boxes and I got my triangle, and this is gonna encompass the eyes and the nose, right? So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on the first one, and I'm just gonna demarcate where the eyes are, where the nose is, where the mouth is. Now remember, this is the box right here. This is half the box. This is half of the half. This is half of the half, right? And that's kind of how we're doing it, okay? And then we're gonna go up like this. Make sure you guys can see that. Whoop. You know, that's what I'm saying. Don't. This is just theoretical right here, people. Don't get on me because it's not perfect. Let's go ahead and throw some ears in it, right? This is theoretical. This is how you're supposed to organize your thoughts, okay? And then you can work on the execution of your draftsmanship by yourself, right? I can't really teach you that. You just have to practice it. Learn how the pen feels when you're, you know, making a great mark against the paper versus a not great mark against the paper. Because the paper and the pen will tell you when you're doing it right. It'll feel a certain kind of way. And you need practice in order to understand what that feels like, okay? Now we're still on the simple shapes, people. Still on the simple shapes, okay? And we want to locate the simple shapes first because that's what we build the complex shapes on later. Okay, you got me, people? The most important thing, now this might seem overly simplified, but this is because it's the most important thing of drawing heads. Everything else is just window dressing, okay? So I got, can you see that? Am I showing you? Okay, good, yeah, I'm doing good on that. Fantastic. There we go. And I'll just put in a couple of nice little shapes to represent the facets of the face right here. The side of the head, the forehead right here, so on and so forth. No big deal. We got the same thing over here with the forehead. We could do the same thing right here with the side of the head, side of the face, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, check this out. We're right at 17 minutes, okay? And I've just done 5 heads. I'm getting ready to do 5 more in the looking down from the point of view. And this is all I'm talking about. This is just a mental exercise right here of rotating shapes in your mind and getting it right, okay? Getting the construction right. That's all we're trying to do here. So that's a lineup of somebody looking in different directions from left all the way to right, okay? Now we got down here and he's looking down, okay? You can already see it. Now I'm just gonna keep it a simplified head. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna follow the box, okay? I'm just gonna keep it simplified. This counts too as making heads. I bet you didn't know that, but it counts because you're getting your construction right, okay? That's what you have to do. Get your construction right. The construction is what allows you to do all these crazy things. It's the construction that allows you to do it. Everybody wants to focus on doing the features perfect, the great eyes, the style, the this, the that. None of that matters if you can't do this. Okay? None of that matters if you can't do this. Alright, so make sure you can do this. Practice this. This is the stuff you practice. You can bang out a whole bunch of heads just doing this. You know what I mean? And I like to use straight lines because straight lines are easier to control than trying to make curved lines. You can always make the straight lines and come back later and curve them. And that's a little bit of a hint that if you're going to really get good at it, you want to see things in straights as opposed to curves. Because even when you're making a curve, it's going to be a straight. Now we're going to come back up here real quick. So that's how we are right here. Okay, there it is. We just banged out 10 heads. We're creeping up on 19 minutes, and we're gonna come up on 1. And what we're gonna do as soon as we get through the head construction phase, then we're gonna go into the basic shapes for the features, and then we're gonna really start to have some fun. Okay, but I figured it ain't really fair for me to go ahead and throw y'all in the deep end without at least discussing some of the background behind what makes it possible. Okay, what are the tricks that I'm using, or actually the mental strategies I'm using in order to create, you know, the illustrations that I'm working on? I remember I went and met Kim Jung-ji once. I met him a couple times, but I went to one of his talks when he was in LA one time, all the way back in, I think it was like 2015 or somewhere along there. And it was great because there wasn't very many people there at that convention, at that talk. And then afterwards he did the I think it was the LA Comic Con or something like that, and I went there and met up with him there and said hey to him there too. And I got a lot of funny stories about that, but I'll tell you that later. I don't want this to be too long because I know James is breathing down my neck all the way from England. You know, I really got, you know, that guy, I gotta, you know, if he's gonna be my production guy, we gotta figure this out. Anyway, but I got a lot of really good stories about that. But I was talking to Kim Jung-ji, and he was basically discussing how to visualize your drawing before you draw it, and how to stack up the details on top of the structure and the mental strategies to do that. And if you don't know who Kim Jung-ji used to be, he unfortunately passed away, but he was a tremendous artist who basically could draw straight from his mind without even needing any of this construction stuff or, you know, drawing with his pencil or anything like that. He just did the full-on drawing, and they were huge, complex drawings. And he said the way that he did it was he visualized, I don't know if that's a word, visualized, but he visualized the basic structure and then hung all the details on top of the basic structure like a Christmas tree. And I thought that was fantastic, and he's talked about some other things, and if you want, you can easily go find some of his conversations or his philosophies on YouTube, and I'd encourage you to do that if you're into it. But that's kind of what we're trying to do here, okay? And I wanted to show you some of my mental strategies that I've picked up and developed along the way so that I can give them to you and you can work on them. Now, I want you to go home and I want you to work on this kind of structure, okay? Making these cubed heads at all these different angles, put them in a lineup, make them go left to right, all that good stuff. Also, I want you to think about what your first date was like when you went on your very first date, and let me know how that went. And then if you were gonna say what you think the best first date to go on now would be, give me some ideas. Help these guys out here, because we're trying to get some good first dates off the ground, aren't we? Now let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's make that happen. Here we go. Come on now.